how do I use AI tools safely for literature searching without ending up with unusable or uncitable sources? Matthew, any insights you can give us to effectively use the tools that exist, but not fall into the issues that are associated with that?
Yeah, this is a great question. So, a couple of thoughts on this. First, I want you to use AI as part of your process, not your product. I feel like, David, we should get Grad Coach t shirts that say AI process, not product, because I say that all the time. It's okay to use AI to help speed up your processes, but we should not be using AI to generate the text of your dissertation. So, that's the line. As soon as you are copying and pasting from an AI tool into your Word document, that is where you have crossed the line. So I want to start clearly there. I also want to say, before I get into some more practical tips, you want to make sure that you are in compliance with your university's AI protocols and regulations. So check your handbook, talk to your advisor if you're concerned about this, because there are some universities I'm starting to see with some of my clients that are prohibiting AI use completely. And then I've got other universities who are allowing it in certain circumstances to certain degrees. And I've got a lot of folks who are having to use AI checkers, which are not very accurate, and that's causing some troubles for folks. If you're using the M dash punctuation mark in your English written dissertation, stop using the M dash because that is triggering all of the AI trackers, which hurts my soul because I am a prolific M dash user. I'm sure there's lots of them in my dissertation, but stop doing that. So those are the first two pieces: process, not product, and then triple check your university's expectations. And they might have changed since last semester. So stay tuned to that. Okay, so there's my warning so nobody gets flunked out. Let's talk about how you can actually use this. So, what does it mean to use AI for your process? I think it's all about choosing the right tools. So, I would not recommend using, for example, broad generative AI tools like ChatGPT or Gemini to do your literature search. They are more likely to hallucinate, to go out into the web and pull irrelevant articles, to make stuff up and try to convince you that it's a real article. Because that's kind of what they do, right? They algorithmically pull this stuff together and create text. So we don't want to use those tools for literature search. Instead, we want to find AI tools that are designed specifically for literature search. And there's really two categories of these. The first category kind of reads the papers and filters out and pulls the best papers based on the question that you've asked. Two of those tools that I like, one is Consensus and the other is called Elicit. So those are great tools that you can find online. They have free and paid versions, and you kind of chat with them still. You ask them questions, but they really read the papers and then give you the papers that are most closely aligned to your question. But now, they are not going to give you everything. There's going to be gaps in what they find and pull for you. So you still have to do the other steps. You still have to mine literature out of the references lists that they give you. You still have to go in the databases and do your own searching, but they're good tools to kind of get you up on your feet with your literature review if you're having a hard time getting started. The second batch of tools connects literature based on sort of citation maps. And so the best one for that, I think, is called Research Rabbit. You upload a paper or you could drop in a DOI link. And what it does is it says, here are all the other papers written by this author. And so you can kind of look at them that way. Or it'll say, here are all the papers that this author cited and all the papers that those authors cited. And it puts these really cool network graphs together. So you can go through and find the different articles. It can also go the other way. So this article is 10 years old. Here's all the people who cited this article. Here's all the people who cited that article. And so you can get really comprehensive scans really fast using tools like that. So that's the best way to think about this. Think about the right tool for the task in front of you. And we're never, ever, ever, ever using AI to generate text for our dissertation.
What I'll also add there is really, if you are using AI tools, make sure you are using your prompts effectively. Look up a YouTube video on how to effectively prompt AI tools. Because if you give it a bad question, it's going to give you a bad answer, or it's not going to give you a complete answer. My favorite is to ask it, what other information do you need from me in order to do this task? Because then it's going to tell you what it thinks is necessary in order to address that problem. So think about your prompts. Make sure that you're using it for processes, not for a product. And then please keep on track with what your university's stance is on AI, because this changes quickly, it changes drastically, and it can have really intense outcomes if you're caught on the wrong side of that.